Feeling better, getting better every day. Definitely a little frustrating, but first real injury, so just trying to, make the most out of each day. But we're getting there. It's getting better.
Is this your first major injury or to deal with anything? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. First time missing time. Never first time like feeling anything in a game, which was like pretty scary for me in the moment. But fortunately, we're going to be okay. But yeah, first one, and not a fan of these.
No, not fun. And we actually had we had Brendan Woodruff on with us like what 30 minutes ago. He's the same way. I mean, he's mostly been on the field, obviously his whole career. He's like, dude, I'm bored. It's like I'm just walking around talking shit to my teammates right now because I got so much extra time and I can't play in the games.
I know. Yeah, that's the hardest part. Is you do your stuff, and then what do you do for the rest of the day? So that's yeah, that's about what I'm doing as well.
What are you doing? Like, what can you do? I mean, what do you like to do anyway when you're off the field, or even if you're killing time at the ballpark? Are you a talker? Are you a reader?
Well, my big thing off the field is golf, so I can't do that either. So having to play a lot of video games while I'm at home. At the field, I do my stuff and then just kind of hang out. Play some golden tee in the locker room left-handed, just to get my golf fix. But just hanging out with the guys, that's really the best way to kill time and keep the sanity.
So, Kyle, wanted to go over obviously your relationship with the Summit Counseling Center this season, which is an organization that provides professional counseling, psychological services, school based mental health, and community education services. Wanted to give you the floor to kind of explain more about what that is and then dive into some of the mental health components in the game and also what you've experienced really early on in your life
Mhm.
in that category.
Yeah, so I think for a long time, me and my wife have wanted to, give back and do something, productive other than just, play baseball. So um, I've always been intrigued by mental health, just because unfortunately it's kind of impacted. I've had a lot of things that have impacted my life because of it, and then obviously this game we play baseball is, as taxing mentally as anything. So I've always just been, had I've always wanted to do more, and I've understood the importance of it. So Summit actually reached out to me, and it was almost right away. It was like a perfect match. They work in Atlanta. It's exactly what I was looking forward to. They work with schools, which I think is really important to kind of work with kids at a younger age and understand that it's okay to talk about your feelings and get that off your chest, so you can continue to grow and develop as a person. So so far it's been a lot of fun working with Summit. They've been fantastic. They've got a great group of people that do a lot of good stuff. So I'm looking forward to just continuing to working with them and hosting them throughout the season, and continue to grow in that relationship.
Kyle, can you talk about some of your issues? Listen, we played, Lorenzo and I played. We know how hard baseball is. But for
Yeah.
the outside people, they don't understand the grind and being away and answering questions after you go 0 for 4. You pitch one inning, give up a bunch of runs, and come out of the game, and you got to wait 4 days to pitch. Can you talk about your personal experience with this and just how hard it is?
Yeah, I think for me, I struggled significantly at the big league level. First getting called up in 2018 as a September call up, and just kind of getting my taste of, had some success and had some bad outings. And then in 2019, get some chances to start. None of them went very well. 2020, struggled early on, kind of got on a little roll, and then gave up 7 runs in the first inning of the NLCS. And then going back down in 2021, and again, struggling. Had 2 starts in the big league level, both bad. And then, I think it just started to beat myself up all the time, which, I mean, I guess rightfully so, because I wanted to do well. And, that's, again, kind of what we talked about earlier, first round pick and, signed for this much, supposed to be this guy already. And, to struggle that much and was frustrating. And it was really tough to kind of, fight that battle and not look too far into the struggles and try to figure out what I can do better. So for me, I think once I finally, you know, really reset. That's what I did. I hit the reset button in all phases of the game, mentally, physically, on the field, off the field, and I think that's kind of what really allowed me to grow as a person, as a player, and I think it's helped me. It helped me have a good season last year, and hopefully we get this shoulder right and have a good rest of the season this year.
Yeah, Kyle, as a guy who, we all, like you said, we all go through our struggles. We all deal with
Mhm.
stuff on and off the field. Failing in this game is tough, and if you allow, it will beat you down, man. And me myself personally, I didn't sleep well a lot of nights. When I
Yeah.
would strike out or whatever the case may be. Just had a bad slump or whatever the case may be. And you just gotta always figure out ways or find ways to get out of it and keep pushing forward. But for me, I had special people in my life that I can talk to
Mhm.
that just kind of motivated me and kept me going. Um, do you have people or did you have this one certain thing that would help you overcome certain situations?
Yeah, I think to your point, fortunately, I have a lot of good people in my life. Obviously, wife, my parents, brothers, friends. But one of the guys that I turned to pretty heavily was Zach Sorensen, and he's our mental performance coach at the Braves. And we really just we talked about so many things. Obviously, pretty heavily on baseball and routines and all that. But it helped me so much on the field, and I saw it translate to off the field, and then they just they really do coincide. So I think Zach has been a huge um, factor for me, and really kind of turning my career around and getting that mental side squared away and understanding how to handle failure and how to handle success has been a game changer for me. So Zach's a guy that I have to give a lot of credit to.
Mhm.
Did things change for you? I know you've been up and down, and I know the story more because I was a Braves fan growing up, and I know the whole story. You won 20 games last year, but did you going up and down? You said in 21 you struggled. Then you get called up, and guess what? You pitch in the World Series, and you do great.
Mhm.
Do you think that was the turning point? Not only the talks and everything, but then you get up to the big leagues, and on the biggest stage in the world, you go out and you're just like shove, 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 shove. Do you think that was the main point where you said, "Man, all this work has finally become reality"?
Yeah, there was a couple different factors, I think. One, I think I finally just quit playing that game myself like, "Oh, I don't deserve this." I finally stopped feeling sorry for myself, and understanding, this is the reality. This is what it is. I should be here in AAA because I'm not pitching well. I shouldn't be in the big leagues or because I'm not playing well. So that was one big thing. And again, I give that a lot of credit to Zach, and we worked through that. So I think understanding that, and I actually went to work from there. We really hit the reset button. I started working with Ben Brewster, Tread Athletics, on the mechanical side and um, pitch wise. And so I think kind of pair those two together, and I really truly got back to myself mentally, physically, and then I just started to buy into that, and end up having a really good rest of the year in AAA, and I got my chance in the World Series, and at that one, I hadn't pitched in the big league since my last start, which was I don't know maybe April or so. It was early in the year, and it was bad. So you never really know until you get back in there and do it in a game. Then for it to translate as well as it did in the World Series was a really that's when I kind of knew I was like okay, I can do this. I believe in myself. My stuff's good enough. I've really felt squared away from there.
Did you change your pitches though, right? You went from a in college you were a four seam slider guy, and then you went to a two because you changed your pitches when you kind of came up as one guy, then you went down and became a different guy, and then when you came back for that World Series, you were back to the old you, correct?
Yeah, essentially. So like out of college and really my first year of pro ball, I was mostly four seam curveball, or I should say four seam and two seam. I always had a pretty good mix of both with the curveball. Then kind of over time throughout my minor league career, and really when I first got called up, is when analytics started to really take over, and that was when things turned into the four seams up, hard sliders down, and it's just not what I did really well. So it wasn't necessarily wrong, but for me and the way I throw in my arsenal, I had bad results because of it. Command was worse, got hit. So then when I went back down, 100% bought back into, throwing the sinker, throwing the curveball, and then mix in the changeup and cutter off that. And that was the turning point. Just throwing that curveball as much as possible, and I'm not trying to be so fine with my sinker. I think if you're throwing a sinker, you kind of want to encourage contact to an extent. So I think just trusting those and attacking the strike zone with those two was the ticket.
I'm going to give you a confidence boost here. You probably already know this, but maybe not. So I know with the Summit staff, which I mentioned at the top there, you hosted them at a game recently, and they also had their annual gala, a silent auction, where items were being auctioned off, like Taylor Swift tickets, which are pretty expensive, Braves tickets, along with donated signed items. I'll ask AJ this too. Which do you think went for more, AJ? And I know you've seen some T Swift ticket prices.
Well, I ain't buying the Taylor Swift tickets. I don't care about her, so I'm taking this.
I know you're
Braves
not
tickets.
buying them and you don't care, right? Well, guess what? That's what happened. The auction went in favor of the tickets and the signed items.
Have you been to a Braves game lately? Because Kyle's there. Listen, there's not an empty seat in that place. Forget an empty seat. You can't even walk around the Battery without. I mean, you're the whole time you're trying to walk from anywhere. Yeah, those tickets are hard to come by. So yeah, and then you're throwing in 20-game winner signing stuff. Yeah, that's good items.
So you beat Taylor Swift, Kyle.
Yeah, I was shocked to see that, but I guess to your point, the Braves games are always packed, so people here love their Braves baseball. So yeah, I was shocked though.
It's okay. You can say, yeah, I signed a ball or two for him. It's okay. You can toot your own horn on the show. We'll let you.
Not this time. Maybe for something else, but I was shocked here.
All right, so let's circle back to what's next for you personally, what you want to do in terms of the mental side of the game. Like, are there still components that you want to add to your routine or that you'd like to explore that you're learning, and how you can give back in that category as well, in addition to doing this, which obviously is great, and then we can blast this out to people. But I know you're working kind of feet on the ground in this department too.
Yeah, a little bit of both. I think for my experience with baseball, I think always I'll keep working on it, keep changing things, just because every game of baseball is different. One game is completely different than the next. So I think that's the fact that it's always evolving. I think you kind of have to always evolve with it. That's something, like I said, me and Zach work on a lot, and we talk through those things, talk through the games. What do we do well? What can we do better? And how are we going to do it? So that's kind of, for me, that's always going to evolve. And, right now I really enjoy working with Summit. I think they do a lot of great stuff. So I see us working together for a while. And, hopefully we can do some even cooler things as we continue to grow and, hopefully bring some more awareness to this. But, I don't have any specific plans in that regard, but, like I said, Summit's doing great work, and I'm looking to see how far we can take this thing.
This is awesome. Yeah, appreciate it, Kyle. Great to talk it out, and we'd love to have you back soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.